So let's talk about artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. It's a real double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, it's probably the most powerful shield we've ever had, but on the other, it's also shaping up to be one of the most dangerous weapons. We're going to break down what this new technological arms race is all about.
And that really is the central question. Is AI here to save us, or is it the biggest threat we've ever faced online? The thing is, this isn't a simple good guy versus bad guy story. The very same technology that's building our best defenses is also being used to create the next generation of attacks. So the answer to this question, well, it's not one or the other. It's both, at the same time.
And this right here, this is the front line. Think of it like a digital Cold War. For every move, there's a countermove. We get a shield, like predictive threat detection, and they get a sword, like AI-powered malware. We develop enhanced biometrics, and they counter with convincing deepfakes. It's just a constant escalation, where each side's new invention just fuels the other side to get even smarter. And we are right in the thick of it.
All right, so let's start with the good news, shall we? Let's talk about the AI Guardian. How exactly is this technology being used to protect us? We'll kick things off on the defensive side of the ball.
So, how does AI defend us? Well, it all comes down to being smarter and faster. First up, threat detection. See, old-school antivirus software can only find viruses it already knew about, but AI is different. It looks for strange behavior. It'll notice if your computer suddenly starts sending out massive amounts of data at 3 a.m. and flag it as suspicious. Next, automation. Your average security expert gets flooded with thousands of alerts every single day. It's just noise. AI can sort through all of it, find the real threats, and let the humans focus on what matters. And finally, incident response. When an attack is happening, every second counts. AI can automatically quarantine an infected laptop in seconds, not minutes, stopping a virus from spreading across the whole company. That speed is a complete game changer.
Now this is where things get really interesting. For decades, cybersecurity has always been reactive. We wait for an attack, then we scramble to clean up the mess. Well, predictive analysis completely flips that around. By studying millions of past attacks, AI can learn to spot patterns and predict where the next attack is most likely to come from. It lets us finally get proactive and patch up the holes before the bad guys even find them.
So how does that work exactly? Well, you can think of it in 3 steps. First, the AI basically goes to school. It studies a massive amount of data from previous attacks. Then, it starts connecting the dots. It identifies the subtle patterns, the common tricks that hackers use again and again. And finally, it takes that knowledge and alerts a company about its own weak spots before they can be exploited. It's all about getting ahead of the curve.
And AI isn't just protecting big systems, it's getting personal. You know about Face ID and fingerprint scanners, right? Well, AI is now creating what's called a behavioral fingerprint. It learns the unique rhythm of how you type, the way you move your mouse, even the angle you hold your phone. So if a hacker steals your password, the second they try to log in, the AI can tell something's off. It's an incredible defensive layer. But as we're about to see, every shield can be turned into a weapon.
Because, of course, for every defensive move, there's an offensive counter. So now we've got to pivot to the darker side of this story. Let's look at how hackers are taking these very same powerful AI tools and turning them into weapons.
Remember that behavioral fingerprint we just talked about? Well, here is the terrifying flip side. The same AI tech that can confirm it's you can also be used to steal your identity by creating a perfect, convincing deepfake of your voice. The shield becomes the sword.
And this is not science fiction. This is happening today. Imagine you get a video call from your boss. They sound urgent, they look exactly like they should, and they're asking you to transfer some money or send some secret files. Except it's not them. It's a deepfake. This is social engineering supercharged by AI, using tech to pull off the ultimate psychological trick.
I mean, social engineering itself, the art of tricking people, is as old as scams themselves. But AI puts the whole thing on steroids. It makes the deception so much more believable, so much more personal. Deepfakes basically weaponize our most basic human instinct, to trust what we see and hear with our own eyes and ears.
And the hacker's AI toolkit goes way beyond deepfakes. We're now dealing with adaptive malware. That's viruses that can actually change their own code to hide from security software. Then you have automated hacking tools that work around the clock, 24/7, scanning for a single weakness. No human could ever be that persistent. And then there are entire armies of AI-driven bots that can launch these massive, coordinated attacks that adapt in real time. It's a whole new ballgame.
So we've got this high-tech battle going on between AI defenders and AI attackers. But this fight isn't just about the code. There are some really critical human challenges that we have to face.
This is where things get really clever. Hackers are now targeting the defensive AI itself. With something called data poisoning, they'll deliberately feed an AI bad information, basically teaching it to ignore real threats. It's like sabotaging a guard dog's training. Then there are adversarial attacks, where they make tiny, invisible changes to a malicious file, just enough to fool the AI into thinking it's safe. In both cases, the AI guardian gets turned against us.
And here's another huge problem, and this one isn't about code at all. We are building these incredibly sophisticated AI security systems, but the demand for people who can actually build and manage them is just skyrocketing, way past the supply. This skills gap is becoming a major vulnerability all by itself.
Which brings us to a pretty critical question. We're creating these unbelievably powerful tools for both sides, but do we actually have enough trained, qualified people to handle them responsibly? You could argue this skills gap is one of the biggest risks we face.
So where does all this go from here? Well, it looks like the future is shaping up to be a relentless and constantly escalating technological arms race.
The most promising way forward probably isn't about AI replacing humans, but actually empowering them. They're calling it augmented intelligence. The whole idea is to let AI do what it does best, sifting through mountains of data, handling the boring stuff, while humans provide the things machines can't: strategy, creativity, and ethical judgment. It's all about creating a human-machine team.
And that team is already working on the next frontier of defense. Things like zero-trust security, where the AI assumes no one is safe and is constantly verifying every single user and device. It's also going to be absolutely essential for securing the billions of smart devices in our homes. And the ultimate goal? Creating self-healing systems, networks that can detect an attack, fix themselves, and learn from it all on their own.
But no matter how advanced this technology gets, this point is absolutely crucial. Technology is a tool. It doesn't have morals. It doesn't have ethics. Making the big decisions, how to respond to an attack, how to balance security with privacy, those tough judgment calls will always require human wisdom. We just can't automate everything.
And so, as this AI arms race just gets faster and faster, we're left with a final thought. When defenders and attackers are both using such incredible technology, maybe our biggest challenge isn't the technology itself. Maybe it's us, mastering our own judgment, our ethics, and our wisdom to manage these tools. That's the real challenge ahead. Thanks for joining us.